Greetings golfers, from Duffer to Driver here, and today we're going to be playing more aggressively than I usually do. Being a 25 handicap, I tend to play more conservative as I try to keep myself out of trouble. But for this round, I told myself if I had the option to just send it, to be confident, and just strike a full send. Obviously not the intended result first shot of the round, but that's okay. I won't change my mental plan, and I'll try to stay on track. Seeing as my drive only went 70 yards, way into the rough, and not even making the fairway, I'm choosing to use a 7-iron here to try to pop it out of the rough and get in a decent position on the fairway. Shot goes a little more right than what I wanted, but at least we're on the fairway. Now, because the shot went more right than I had hoped, you can see the green is tucked behind that mound of trees out on the right side. So I decided to aim just in front of the green with a 6-iron, hoping that will keep me on the fairway for an easy chip on. Unfortunately, I misjudged the distance and I rolled off the fairway. So this is going to be tough to get a good score off this hole now. In the rough, awkward distance from the hole, this usually spells disaster for high handicappers such as myself. It's hard to tell, but the pin is on the far side of the green, so this chip just doesn't roll far enough, and I'm left with a long putt for bogey. So this putt breaks right a lot more than I was expecting, and you'll see I have a really hard time today reading the greens. We even miss that follow-up and get a disastrous quad here on the first hole, but that's okay. Most of that was because I botched my short game and my drive. So let's try to fix that. The second hole is a short par 5, and even for someone like me, getting on the green for a birdie putt is always a possibility if I have good contact with the ball. So let's line up the driver and look to just send it. A decent drive that didn't slice too much, with some great distance too. A good drive for me is 220, and my best is 240, so I'll take 228 any day of the week. Now, being in the middle of the fairway will sometimes mess with my head. Because it's so rare, I don't want to fumble after such a great setup, but I end up getting too much into my head, and then I usually just duff it. Here I select my longest club I'm confident with, which is a 5 hybrid, and I look to just send it. I know it can go 200 if I hit it just right, and I know I won't hit the green, but I might hit these guys' bags up here. A decent hit. We fall short of what I wanted, but it still leaves us in a good position to get on the green in regulation. Still on the fairway, which is shocking, but with 75 to go, we look for a full swing gap wedge to hopefully stick the middle of the green. Now, it goes too far, and we end up just past the green, hopefully close enough for an easy chip. Not that it really helped us in the last hole. So decent chip here gets me close to the hole, and this is a makeable par putt, I think.
Yeah, not bad.
Unsurprisingly, I hit that one with too much juice, but we'll take the bogey. A bogey is a great score for us, so let's see if we can continue that. On to the hardest hole on the course. This long par 4 has a lot of water that tempts you to hit over it, but punishes you hard for misses. Honestly, it's my least favorite hole. And for whatever reason, 90% of the time, I slice way right here into the trees. So at least I still get a bit of distance out of this. With the willow tree in the way and the green being too far, I know I can't hit over the water. So I decide that bumping it with my hybrid under the tree will get me close to the green on the fairway, where I can hopefully lay up. But I get too much air, bounce off the tree I was trying to aim under, and I'm back to square one.
Aim at the bunker with the 7. That's like my only option.
Still in the rough, but at least most of the tree is out of the way now. So I'm looking to aim the 7-iron short of the bunker on the right, making sure I avoid the water to my left. But we duffed that one. At least I'm not in any trouble as the ball rolls down the fairway. Now with 90 yards to go, I decide to play more aggressively than I usually would here. Instead of aiming for the bunker on the right to avoid the water, I'm going to aim center of the green and clear the water. I know a good pitching wedge shot for me will carry around 90-100 yards, so I'm confident I can get over the water here. The shot goes right, but at least we made it over the water. You can see that the bugs are starting to get to me, so anytime I'm swatting my legs after a shot, you know that I'm being attacked. Now, because I haven't been very confident chipping today, I decide to Texas wedge this onto the green instead. It doesn't feel great doing it, but I tend to get decent results, so do what works for you. I actually overestimated how much this would break, but I think this would be closer than if I'd tried chipping. We just missed that double, but thankfully we sinked this one for an unfortunate triple. Didn't really have any good shots this hole, so time to move on. This par 3 sits at a distance between a pitching wedge and 9-iron for me, depending on the day. So today I decided to use my pitching wedge. And unfortunately that means we're going to land a few feet short as this drifts to the right. Into the bunker. A bunker shot, a high handicapper's worst nightmare. I take my gap wedge into the bunker since I don't have a sand wedge, and I try to be confident in my swing here. This one just squeaks out and rolls towards the hole. Couldn't have asked for a better shot, honestly. Good etiquette tip here, make sure when you're leaving bunkers to use the rake to remove any holes or deep footprints that can catch another player's ball in them. So we have an actual chance at par here as I'm getting attacked by mosquitoes, but looks like we misread the break again. Speed looked pretty decent though. And that putt sinks for a great bogey recovery considering we landed in a bunker. Now this hole is a dog left par 4, so if you have the confidence, you aim over the trees on the left to get onto the fairway. Today, I'm oozing with confidence. Well, not really, but that's what I'm telling myself in the moment. Time to lock and load and just send this. To my surprise, it looks like from here, I actually clear the trees. And solid distance on the driver, so we'll take that. So we made it over the trees, but we're in the rough and we're on a slant. So from my own personal experience, I know this shot will pull more right than usual. So right now I'm almost aiming for the trees on the left, hoping to just make it short of the green. So we made it short of the green, just like we thought, but this is an awkward chip with the bunker on the right and it being an elevated green. And I completely botched the distance as it lands on the rough and stops short of the green again. So even though I got to pass through some rough here, I whipped the putter out again after being frustrated with that awkward chip. And we 2-putt this one for a double, but it could have been a bogey had we not messed up that initial chip. Now this drive falls inches short of the fairway bunker, but since we made decent distance, it could still give us a chance to get on the green in regulation. So you can see this awkward lie in the rough. It's on a downward slant in some deep rough right next to a sand trap. So While setting up, I knew there was a strong chance that I would hit the ground before the ball, just because of the angle I have to swing into it. But I try anyways to go for the aggressive shot and choose a club that should make the center of the green. So unsurprisingly, we duff that one, but at least it rolls under the trees and past the cart path. We hit the far edge of the green and set up for this long downhill putt that I completely overcook and make the complete opposite side of the green. No, I get robbed of that putt to make double, and we get another disastrous triple here. The putting today has been really destroying my score. But look how unlucky this putt was. It rolled around the edge of the cup. We try to reset on the 7th hole, where this green begs you to shoot over the water. And because I can't resist, we're gonna fall short and land in the water. Nice. Long putt here, but this didn't break left as much as I thought it would, and actually went mostly straight. Now, this second putt too looked to me like it would go left, but goes straight again. So I'm really feeling frustrated on these greens today. Now for the longest hole on the course. It's going to take some solid hits if I want to make it to the green with any hope for par here. But we get a beautiful drive that splits the fairway. Honestly, felt so good to make this shot. So, center of the fairway, long way to go. I whip out my 3-wood, which I rarely do. I'm committing to my mantra today of just sending it, so I'm about to lick this stamp. It's not a total disaster, but we are a bit right and 50 yards shorter of what I know this club can do. So still happy after that last shot. This one is all uphill, 200 yards, and I'm in some deep rough that is really wet, as you can see by all that mud. So we whip out the 5 hybrid and decide to send this one as hard as we can. I was honestly surprised it went where I was aiming, and we fall just shy of the green. Possible up and down, maybe? So there's too much rough here to use my Texas wedge technique, so I'm forced to chip the old-fashioned way. So we get up and down with a bogey. Happy with that score on this hole, as just the sheer distance usually gives me a lot of issues. Last hole of the evening here, and you can see that daylight is fading fast and the bugs are coming out in force. Maybe it was because I was rushing, but this goes way left and barely makes it over these trees. So we're trying to beat the light here, and we try to get the ball back onto the fairway where I'll actually be able to find it. As if you've ever played in low light conditions, it is really hard to find your ball. So here I choose the right club for the job and aim for the center of the green. Have to end with the same mantra of just sending it. And it goes right, but the cart path over there helps us up the hill just next to the green.
Cart path, okay.
This putt falls short, and we inflate our score of this hole to a triple. If we take a look at my actual score for the round, I did terrible for my standards. Generally, I'm breaking 50 over 9 holes, so 57 is not that great. But a lot of this came down to my short game and some very mediocre putting. If I was more dialed in and making more 2 putts instead of 4 putts, I could have gotten a much better score. Quick shout out to Lance, who sold me my initial golf set, getting me into golf, and is now a subscriber. Thank you so much for watching. I'm from Duffer to Driver, and I'll see you out on the course.